This article is about the tariffs on China and how they have impacted the United States toy industry. To preface this article, most of its evidence and quotes come from the CEOs of toy companies, so there could be some bias here. Now, skimming through the article, it first talks about how the United States has a 145% tariff on China and how 80% of all US toys were made in China. In addition, China has implemented retaliatory tariffs on the US, 125%. This has caused many US toy companies to lay off American workers, having the opposite effect that the government intended. The reason why factories cannot be brought from China to the US is because most Americans do not want to work in factories. If there is no willingness here, we cannot build a workforce in factories in the United States. In addition, there are many parts of toys that cannot even be made in American factories in the first place, such as hair. It'll take years to build new factories in the United States, and in those years, companies will be struggling. In addition, much of toy production still involves hand labor, which, as previously stated, it cannot be done in the United States. Because of this, most of the production is still in China. The part of manufacturing that is in the United States are things that can be highly automated, and things that cannot be made in the United States are mainly made in China, which is heavily impacted by the tariffs. This has greatly impacted toy companies in that many have had to altogether pause shipments from China because tariff rates are changing so quickly that they don't know what the tariff will be when the goods arrive, and they don't want to have to take the risk of not knowing that. Because of this, toy companies have lost all of their cash flow, and eventually some of them will have to go out of business. In terms of the connection to globalization, this entire situation is because of globalization. Without globalization, US toys would be made in the US, and this entire thing would not have been an issue. A takeaway from this article is that different goods have different needs, and for example, toys need to be made internationally because there is no willingness for them to be made in the United States. One question I have is who's going to fold first? Will the government fold by reducing the tariffs? Will the toy companies fold by moving production to the United States? Or will toy companies fold by going out of business? Or will consumers have to fold by paying a lot more for their everyday toys?